Hello real life traders, this is Brad Reed and my daughter Isabella. We are on the Boquerón beach in Puerto Rico enjoying the beautiful weather. As you can see, there's not many people on this beach because it's pretty cold for Puerto Ricans. It is about 85 degrees. And yeah, that's cold, but you know what? The markets are hot somewhere, so enjoy this real life trading video.
Hey traders from around the world, what's going on? It's your boy Jerremy Alexander Newsome with reallifetrading.com. I hope and trust you're doing most majestically magical. We have ourselves the SPY on the board. Not that much happening. Obviously a little of a down day for sure. These red bars you see on the screen is a copy of this time frame over here, where I kind of was thinking that we might be forming something similar. Because again, we had that giant bullish candle followed by bearish evening star inside candle. So, you know, bullish candle, high wave, bearish candle, inside candle. And we continued a little bit lower today, which doesn't totally invalidate the pattern. But if we are going to have a similar move like this, we're going to want a bullish day pretty soon out there on the SPY. Overall, though, looking at it, it looks a little on the weak side. If you pull up the hourly chart, so here's the hourly time frame, looks a little bit like a pennant pattern. So realistically, the lows of these two candles on the hourly chart are almost identical. So if we do break that down, either really tomorrow or this morning, it probably will go down a little bit lower, most likely into 270 and some change. And if we break out higher, then hopefully, obviously, we'll get a little bit of a bullish bounce. But really, that's the SPY. Not all that much happening. Here's the only day trade we took, that I took in the morning day trading room today. This was on Micron Technology. Micron did trade down into the 100 simple on a weekly chart. This is a really good support for Micron Technology, and if it's going to bounce, if it has any chance of bouncing, this is where. And if it doesn't bounce, it's probably going to trade down to 37.50 and then most likely 36.50. Really, really key area though here on MU. You can see definitely having some bear movement 4 weeks in a row. So I'm watching Micron down here for a little bit of a bullish bounce, to say the least. I like the lower shadow, and for those of you who got some protective puts, a good spot to exit those protective puts, lock in profit on those put options, and then use those puts to maybe buy a few more shares. Here was the trade that we played bullish this afternoon. A really quick move. Wasn't a great gainer, but it was a gain. Playing the breakout, the retest of that move right there. Did it with two separate orders, half an hour and half an hour with a stop down here. Got out for 0.3 Rs. So nothing dramatically fantastic, but that makes me and brings me to 3.33 Rs for the month of October. That was the only trade placed today on the markets. I did have a trader with me today here in Nashville, Tennessee. He's still here actually. He'll be here till Wednesday morning. He played PetMed Express real money on the 3-minute chart like a boss. Here was a 3-minute setup, and his entry was entered here. Stop was down here. Got out right up here for 2.07 Rs. That was his winner. And then his loser was on AAXN. This is Axion, AAXN. I actually like the trade that he took. Got in bearish here. No, I'm sorry, I apologize. He got in bearish here, right there, when it broke that high wave bearish candle on a 3-minute with a stop loss right there. And obviously got triggered in, got stopped out within about 12 minutes, and then went on to take pets and simply make more than he lost. So John Salvio, shout outs to you, my man. Congratulations and good trade. Yes, I think that's, I didn't really have tons of requests for today, so let me go pull up the request that I did have. Let me pop over here. So I had ticker symbol CL, which I think is Colgate. CL, Colgate Palmolive. Keep those teeth white. What do we got here? So earnings, it's coming around the corner. I actually had a decent bullish gap not too long ago. Here's the weekly chart, and wow. Very interesting on Colgate. Super strong support down here, about 61.75. If anyone is going long Colgate, that's probably where. Here's your long-term moving averages, and let's go down here to a monthly time frame. Monthly's pretty far away, but really, really key support on a pretty decent blue chip stock like Colgate. If anyone's going long, that's mostly like where you want to go. If you haven't done that, earnings is right around the corner. Most likely this gap will continue to fill. And then if you get a gap down on earnings, that's probably the spot to go long. Other stock request was for CLF. And CLF, this is Cleveland Cliffs. And Cleveland Cliffs just trading into some really great support resistance. Here's the weekly chart, and if you really zoom out, there's a decent amount of support resistance around 1288. Just depends on how you draw it. You might have had your support resistance at 1234, something of that magnitude. But if you really keep an eye on the weekly chart, what you'll notice on Cleveland Cliffs is that you had a good resistance here, higher lows here, and we broke out of that pattern. Nice with good volume. There's the close of the market. My good buddy Butch Bubek and I think Cheryl Mall and a few other traders were playing Cleveland Cliffs down here, buying some shares, doing some covered calls, locking in some good gains on this particular company. Here's the daily time frame, and realistically what happened is on earnings you got a pretty quick flash lower, which completes an S curve. So there's one, and then here's another one right here. So if you're looking at going bullish, this would be the general vicinity at which you would be looking to do such a thing. Nice pullback into the 100 simple moving average. Trend still looks good, and that's my thoughts on Cleveland Cliff. Facebook, ticker symbol FB, was a kind of a cute semi-non-event candle today. Pretty much an inside day candle. The high of both Friday's candle and today's candle are almost identical. So yep, 157.35 and 157.34, 1 penny away from a tweezer top-esque candle, but it is an inside day. So you have an evening star reversal pattern here on Facebook. You have an inside day candle on Friday and an inside day candle today, which means if Facebook breaks lower, breaks below 153, we will hit 149.22 most likely. And then from there, earnings is just days away, actually next week. And when Facebook gaps, which it will, probably down or up, it'll probably fade. So if it gaps up, it'll probably trade down and then bounce. And if it gaps down, it'll probably trade a little bit higher. We will see though how far it gaps down, because here's the weekly 200 simple moving average is at 132.96. So if it gaps down too far, that can be a great spot to buy. If it gaps down kind of this no man's land, I could see a little bit of a trade up, and then it actually rolls down into that price on earnings. We're just going to have to wait and see what Facebook does on earnings, but at this particular moment, I do think a gap up would fade a little bit, but longer term would be decently saucy and semi-bullish on Facebook. Did have a few other requests that came in. Let me pull up AMD. And AMD earnings around the corner, up 5% today. What's interesting on AMD is just a super obvious retracement, I feel like. I don't think anyone is shocked that we're getting a retracement after going from $9 to $32 in the course of a few months. So this looks like a 1, 2, some type of wave 3, big wave 4. And usually wave 4s can be triangle patterns, consolidations, distributions. So something like this I still think is applicable. Will that occur? I really don't know, but it looks like it probably will. Got some moving averages here. Here's the daily chart, and the daily chart got a little bit of a high wave bullish candle. So if AMD gaps down on earnings, then yes, I do expect this big wave 4 type of pattern to continue a little bit lower. My buddy Brad Runge has an 1850 put sale expiring this Friday, which is actually pretty far away, in between the 100 and the 200 simple. If AMD gaps up, I mean, if it gaps above 28.96 on earnings, it'll probably run for a little while, pull back and fill the gap some, and then bounce, right, making that nice little S-curve pattern. Other than that, I'm really interested to see how the gap up plays. I mean, I think a gap up will probably gap up, fade down, back into like the 23 area, and then bounce. Overall, most likely AMD will continue higher, but it will take a little bit of time. And let's go look at a request that came in pretty recently. Cron and TEVA and Macy's. So here's CRON. This is Devin requesting Cron. And as I mentioned, and I've been talking about in the afternoon rooms and the reviews, I think this was a very obvious sell the news type of play on the medical marijuana. cannabis and or the Canada cannabis plays, because huge bullish candle, right? Bullish candle there, and it gapped up on CRON and just trading down now to a spot where a lot of people were hoping it would get to in the not too distant past. Here's the weekly long-term moving averages on CRON, and the weekly long-term moving averages are 454. Is it going to make it back down there? I don't know. Probably, because this just makes sense. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're going to get like an A, B, C wave down. I would love it if it pulls back to 450 and some change, 460 over the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. Just enough to trap any of the overzealous bulls who hopped on CRON way too late. Will that occur? You know, I truly don't know. Obviously, we're at a good spot to bounce now. If you are picking up some, it's after 5 down days in a row. Just nibble, hop in, test the water with your small toe, and then maybe buy a little bit more down here at 570. Here's TEVA, and TEVA is at 21.23, trading very sideways, not doing much presently. Here's the weekly chart on TEVA Pharmaceuticals, and the 100 simple is acting as a beautiful resistance on TEVA. That's really what's holding this thing back. I don't see anything exceptionally bullish until it can break above that particular price, but we are hanging around the 200. Since earnings is around the corner, I'd love to see if this does indeed turn out to be some type of inverted head and shoulders pattern. So if Teva can gap above 22.43, it would run really nicely into at least the 100, and then from there, maybe even the $25 price level. If it gapped up on earnings into 25, you'll probably see a nice quick sell-off and then potentially a bounce from there. And last but not least is Macy's, ticker symbol M. And Macy's, I actually did have a bearish swing trade set up on it, and so far it has not triggered. I was looking for a breakdown, as you can see at 31.60. That would be the stop with a limit of 31.86 with a stop at 33.86. That just hasn't happened yet. We're actually bouncing off the 200. A little bit of a bullish gap and go today. Here's the weekly chart. You're kind of in between the long-term moving averages. Is Macy's with the Macy's Day, Thanksgiving parade coming into November, right? A lot of people going to Black Friday, getting some deals. Is Macy's going to continue higher from here? Possibly. What I can say is I actually did have a bullish swing trade set up on Macy's about a week ago, getting in bullish above here. It just never triggered. In fact, the very next day, which was the 17th of October, it broke down into the 200. I did have a trader do some put sales on Macy's. He got put some shares and is rewarded today with a little bit of a gap up. But at this point, all I can say on Macy's is we got the 200 on the daily. It doesn't look insanely bearish, but it doesn't look insanely bullish either. So if you are getting in longer term bullish, that makes sense. You got the 50 EMA on the weekly down here, and I think on a monthly time frame, we're just kind of chopping around, trading sideways. But the bonus is it does look like a 1, 2, 3, 4, some type of 5 with the volume declining. So if you're going long on Macy's, just know your time frame. It's going to take a little bit for it to really rip higher, in my opinion. But that's all I got on Macy's. All right, team. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I will see you all on Wednesday. Make sure to get your request in. And, of course, hop over to reallifetrading.com. We do have 2 new pieces of intel out there I would love all of you to take advantage of. First and foremost, got a new IPO article. And secondly, tune in to learn about the next live event that I have out there for traders, family members, and just other people in general who are really excited about learning more about the psychology of money. Incredible event. Check it out. Click on the article. Watch the video. Let me know if you have any questions. I do want to give a shout out to my good buddy Fabian, who actually just signed up yesterday as well. Thank you, Fabian, for that. So pumped to have everyone there. It's going to be an electrifying, cerebrally intensive event. Oh, so much good stuff. You're amazing, team. Thanks for being here. And until next time, love life, trade. Bye.
Well, everyone, thanks for watching that real life trading video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to trade on logic, not on hope. Lock in your wins and your gains. Get your R so you can join me here on this beach at Boquerón in Puerto Rico.